Okay, we are doing, this was a mentored in-house, our first one in a while, and we're trying out a new system. What we did was we got 10 people who wanted to, learn, get better, whatever, take something out of this. We had a few mentors who were also available in raid call. When we got everybody into groups, we separated them, and each group had either like one or two mentors per team. Um, Obviously, the team were, or the game was 3 minutes behind, but they were able to ask the mentors questions while they were playing, and the mentors were able to comment on what they were seeing in the game. It's just, as an active thing to do. Afterwards, we had a big meeting, discussed everything that happened in the game, and let the mentors kind of do their thing. So right now, what we are doing is we are going to be playing the replay. We have the mentors that were in game commenting on some of the stuff that was going on. This is more for everybody in the community than just the specific people in the community or that in the game that we're playing, because they got tons of information after their game. So we're going to start off. We're going to start off with looking at the team builds. If you guys want to talk about the team builds. Anybody want to talk about the team builds?
Wait, team builds on. What do you mean? Are we talking
I
about
mean the
like
team
what they're
comps.
going to build?
So we
Oh,
have Lee Sin, Katarina, Graves, Tarek, and Kale.
oh. Well, straight from the get-go, it was an interesting bot lane matchup. Ezreal Leona versus Tark and Graves, both tanky supports. That both Ezreal and no Tark and Leona will have to build tanky to for that lane. The jungle matchup, Rengar, Lee Sin, both heavy gank-oriented junglers. Strong early game presence. Rengar falls into late game more than Lee Sin. Lee Sin still has a decently good late game, more than people think, though. And mid lane, it's probably more of a skill matchup. Uh, Ryze versus Katarina. Top lane, both range, Jace, Kale. Interesting matchup, but overall, like if you had to say who had the stronger late game or early game, um, it's actually pretty close. I might give the late game pick to with the team with Ryze. Ryze and Rengar could assassinate the enemy, and Jace still scales into late game pretty well. What do you think, Cleavage?
Um, in terms of bot lane, I like I like Tarek more than I like Leona, just for the sole fact that Tarek's less risky in terms of like initiating a fight. Like Leona has to catapult herself basically into whatever she hooks and puts herself into like harm's way immediately. Whereas Tarek can just throw a stun from like however far away he wants to be. And it's like, all right, well, I like where this is at, so now I can run up and do whatever I want to do, etc., etc. And Graves has a fuckload of damage to be combined with Tarek, and at level 6, they will kill whoever they like decide to kill. Like they're gonna die immediately. Which is why
Welcome
Ezra
to
ranked
Summoner's Rift.
Mid, yeah, it's pretty much a skill matchup, basically. Like it all depends on whether or not Rise is actually going to rise correctly, so to speak. Like he has to, like most Rise players, just get hit a bunch and then just like get zoned and never get items and never hit back because they like use all the mana farming or whatever.
Played
But
really well with Ryze.
what?
What? I was just saying you have to know how to trade with Ryze, when to use your
Yeah,
combo,
yeah,
blah blah blah.
yeah. You have to. Yeah, you can't yourself in lane. You're just like worthless.
Yeah, the thing
Okay.
that makes it a difficult matchup is Ryze is able to snare Katarina, which will stop her from shumpoing, and so it makes it harder for Katarina to get off her combo.
Yeah, but the downside of this is Katarina does not have mana, and Ryze does. So for the early levels, like he might himself just trying to like trade
Alright guys, could you hold on
before
one
he gets his
second?
tier in on.
Can you let me know if the video is going?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Now it
Looks.
is.
Yeah, it's going now. It looks like it's going fine. Okay, so apparently Ryze he wasn't comfortable with Ryze, so he had a harder time in the lane than the Katarina did. Apparently, he wanted to go Diana, I think, but is distorted from going Diana just because Diana's not too good in the current patch. The stream keeps blacking out.
Is it okay now?
For now it is.
Yeah, it's
I think
better.
it is. Okay, well let's start by seeing what they started with. We have Ezreal starting boots. Basic, I guess. Rengar actually started Machete Ward in 2 pots, which is a really actually bad decision because Rengar's sustain got nerfed to basically fuck. He has no sustain anymore, so going 1 ward in 2 pots is almost not possible. Unless he's gonna gank instead of jungle, maybe just get red buff and gank. It's possible, but otherwise you want to always go 5 pots as Rengar. Like it's a must.
Yeah, here we have Ezreal being dumb and not queuing into that bush before he walks in and gets fucked up. I don't know why you do that. Ever, never in your life, ever, if you're playing Ezreal, not queue a bush before you walk into it, ever, at any point in your life. There's no point.
It's
And he
basically
probably didn't need to blow his flash.
Yeah, he didn't need to flash either, but he probably thought Tarek was there, and was just like trigger happy on it. But if Tarek was there, he might have died, actually. But
Yeah.
either
And
way,
even then he has cleanse.
yeah, but it might have happened too fast. Like, he might not even been expecting it, which is why you queue into that bush, because the skill is basically free, and it's pretty far away, so
Or
he
you
just
sit back
he's
and
wasting
wait.
his flash. was no
Something we
reason
can
to
see
do
here now though is the junglers both went to raids directly right after red buff, so that says they didn't start at raids even though they both started red buff, and that's something you really need to not do. You have to start one of the smaller camps before you do the bigger buff. It gives you such a early lead, more experience, more gold. There's just no reason not to. You have your teammates there to help you too.
Yeah, Lee Sin
Yeah.
should have been in position, ready to take raids, and what should have happened is bot lane should have helped a lot, especially with red buff. What's really common is to give them a smiteless leash on their first buff, just so they can jungle that much faster and get to ganking really early on.
Yeah. It also
Yeah,
helps
but the
secure.
reason Lee Sin didn't do that, because he tried that cheesy thing bot with the whole like bush game, but Tarek was like out of the game, so it might have got a kill out of it, but usually
Oh, yeah,
Rengar dying
Here
is
comes
really-
Rengar dying because once again he didn't start all pots, and that really hurt him. That's something you
he
have
should've-
to do.
He should have flashed over the wall.
Yeah, he could have even
Like-
flashed.
He should have flashed because he lost his red. So now Jolin's even harder for him. And he's
He
behind.
should, or he should have just realized he couldn't take it and should have backed, or done. Other
Yeah, and if I
camps.
was Lee Sin in this situation, I'd rush straight for their blue buff to either intercept Rengar or just steal it.
Yeah, gank mid. Ryze getting a little overextended. Ryze, you have to
Yeah.
play a little more safe on. He has no escape. He's not like Katarina who can just jump away instantly.
Yeah, and he has a pretty bad move speed unless you have plans.
Yeah.
So he's slow and he has no escape, so it's like double bad. See, Kale should have beat when she killed him at the tower. Instead, she just sits there.
She should have just pushed the wave out and left to the lane to go, or left back to base to go buy some items and have a huge lane advantage.
But instead, she just kept her boots, and like right here, she should have still kept pushing. Like, who gives a shit? He's back in lane, but
she could have just pushed this out right away and backed, even though he.
yeah,
Jace
she should have pushed it his face. I mean, Jace has to choose. If he pushes the lane and Jace tried to fight, he's just gonna miss creeps and take creep damage and probably lose the fight anyway. But now he's like just taking too long, and there's so many creeps, and he's just gonna end up staying and not using the gold he got from his kill.
Okay, and something you can see bot lane, Tark is not warding the brushes, so he's letting Leona zone him a lot. And Tark has to be really aggressive. He's an aggressive support, and he's not doing too much bot lane. He needs to be a lot more aggressive. Just kind of sitting in the back.
And then
he's like pretty much letting Graves.
They both started Fairy Charm, which I don't think is something you want to start on aggressive tanky supports. You're probably better off either starting boots or a flask or even a cloth armor. Like, especially against Tarek, it's really valuable to take a cloth armor.
Yeah.
Because it just helps mitigate that shatter damage and lets you just take a lot more hits than you normally be able to.
See here, he actually finally initiated on Ezreal and got good burst off him.
Yeah, Zayn overstayed his welcome by a long shot here. Like, I don't know what he was doing.
He wasn't
he won the trade just back up. Like, see, right now they would have that HP and Zayn would have like 80%. Instead, he just like sat there, got exhausted, and beat up.
And Ranger's kind of wasting his time top, not doing much when he's behind in the jungle to begin with. He's gonna gank.
Yeah,
he's just kind of waiting around. He hasn't gotten
See,
much.
He waited so long that Kale has ult, and it's like completely pointless to try now.
And also, Ryze had blue buff right there, and you saw that he stunned or snared Katarina and only Q'd her. He could have just fully unleashed his combo R and all if he wanted to. Cat's not gonna do much. If Cat tried to follow up after that, he could just walk away pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you can always
Ryze's
exchange with more Qs.
Yeah, he only got one Q off. He should have got two, at the most three if Cat went Shumpo.
Yeah, he could have definitely done it.
When you play against Katarina, you kind of want to wait for her to throw her Q, and after that, if it isn't on you, then you can go up and engage because she's not going to do nearly as much damage.
Also, when you have
just
you have blue buff as Ryze, you want to use your Q to last hit minions as much as possible just to get your cooldown or your tier stacks. And you saw that they just kind of exchanged kills there. You'll see.
Personally, I think that for top lane, starting Flask, Award, and 5 pots is a lot better than starting Boots with the move speed changes. Because it lets you out-sustain your opponent, and once you out-sustain them and force them to go back, then you have the opportunity to push the lane and make them miss out on experience and gold.
Yeah, and if you're not like a mana-hungry champion, then instead of Flask, you can always just go Cloth Armor if you're against someone that's heavy AD. Actually, just going Cloth Armor is really good versus heavy AD, even if sometimes you have mana problems, just because you need that armor. Also, I think Jace will actually, Jace just buys a flask, and it's already 9 minutes into the game. That's actually not going to do that much for him, and he'll have to sell it later. So that's a waste of money, pretty much. And Ryze wasting a flash there.
Yeah, the fight was over. He didn't even hit her back. Like,
yeah, he's not trading.
You can't let people hit you for free. Like, he's just getting hit for free the whole lane and then dying.
It's like they're gonna fucking hit me. I'm gonna fight back. I'm not just gonna run away like a little pussy. I'm gonna fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and
you're
then
gonna
another
get hit.
thing
You're already
that-
taking damage, but
When you take a lot of poke from like Katarina, like she blows all her abilities and you're still alive, you don't want to run away. You want to fight them because all their cooldowns are down, and so they're not going to be able to do anything to your exchange. They're going to have to back off.
Yeah, and Rise can do a whole lot more moves than she can.
Also, you see that Rise hasn't even bought a single ward this game, and that's kind of hurting him. You should always be buying wards as the mid laner, always. At least 2 every time you back. He just gets dead.
I feel like he bought tier 2 boots too early. I
Yeah,
think
he
he
did. He
would
should
have
have
been
bought
better
some
off.
HP. He should
She
have
got
bought
cat-
some
Like either get some Doran's rings, or I would even consider buying a MR cape.
If you're losing
Yeah, that was
lane, yes. Going into early, like maybe Banshee's Veil, or
Or an
Abyssal Scepter. Yeah. But I wouldn't actually recommend Doran's Ring, because I would think you'd just get another Mana Crystal instead. Also, you need to get that early Catalyst right after your tier. I mean, you could get a tier and a Catalyst without even getting boots tier 1. That's how important it is.
Well,
Yeah, you need
Doran's
the HP,
rings are really
especially
good
if you
you're
die
behind.
already.
Like,
He
usually,
needs HP because he's already dying, and he needs to just be able to survive, period. Because obviously she's starting that whole thing where she's starting to snowball on him, and pretty soon he's not going to be able to farm.
yeah, I just feel that Doran's rings are really good. Like, if you fall a little bit behind, Doran's rings are really strong, so they let you kind of catch up in lane. Like, it doesn't scale as well into late game, but if you're losing, it lets you turn the tide.
Yeah, that's mostly the cause in almost every single mid. Also, I always get Doran's rings if I have like, I don't have enough money to finish my Catalyst or something. I'm pretty sure Catalyst costs less than a Doran's ring, but you get my point. I can't finish this item. What do I buy? Oh, I have a little gold. I might as well get a Doran's ring. It'll give me a little lane advantage, and yeah, it's a really good early game, especially if you have no other items to buy.
Yeah, because even if they kill you and they're waiting on fucking needlessly large rod, you have 3 rings, and they have just nothing, or just a blast one, you'll do more damage and you have more HP. So even if you're slightly behind, you'll win fights just based off of the fact that you have those items.
So then, yeah, something really risky here, aside from them losing this fight, is that neither team has any wards right now in bot lane, which makes them very susceptible to getting ganked by junglers. You should always
Yeah,
try
that could
and
have
have
been a
wards
bait.
bottom lane.
Like, that could have been a bait on blue sides, and Lee Sin could have been just like chilling at a brush waiting on him to do that, and he could just come in and come back.
And Leona should have reacted a little faster to that, because Tar got a stun off. They got their whole burst off before Leona even did anything. If Leona acted a little earlier, they might have got the kill on Graves. You see there, Rise just runs away after snaring Cat. He doesn't even use his Q or anything like that. He needs to trade.
Yeah, he's already like scared now. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die."
Yeah, so he's like, I just want to live.
And he's just really falling behind on CS too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
He
CS
had a
is so
trouble.
important.
He had a lot of trouble CSing that game, just because of lag, he said. Like there, he could have even got the raise. I mean, he is blue buff.
Well, if he'd gone for race, he would have died. They saw him leave.
Yeah, but
They
I'm just
pinged him.
saying his overall that would have been the better choice to get raised. Why? I mean, like, why not?
He should. Well, I don't know about doing race right then because Rengar is kind of close by, and that guy's really far behind. I would just leave him in the jungle at this point.
But I guess that's true. But I always consider it this: whoever can get it faster, it's more experience and more gold for your team. Just get it once up. Get overall more experience and gold.
And Rengar should not be walking in lane. Like he should not ever let the team know where he is. Like you're letting top and bottom know that they can play aggressive.
Yeah, like if you have
you're
if you have to
mid.
get around, if you're like walking in the river near dragon, you don't just walk through lane middle lane if you want to gank top. You go around. You go through your jungle. You don't just walk through it because then they'll know
Yeah,
where you are.
everybody's like, okay, there's Rengar. They like the whole team pin him instantly. Like, there he is, guys. He's right here, and he's walking this way. And then Katarina went and
towards
chased him
top.
and beat him up a little bit.
Yeah, and
so
then
now top
what
knows
what
that.
should have happened with Katarina chasing around Rengar is Rice should have reacted because Katarina did go pretty deep into their jungle. They could have put a lot of damage on her, not pick up a kill.
Yeah, but and bot lane had him pushed so they could even walk up, like, or one of them. It's like, because Graves was at tower when that happened. Like he was CS in the tower, and they were just standing there, like jerking around. And she ran into the jungle. You could have. She came out unscathed, basically. She didn't really do still.
Yeah.
And that's the theme of mid lane. I'm out unscathed.
Yeah. See a little fight
I
going
don't know what
down
the
here
hell
bot
Terry. I
lane.
don't know what Terry's doing.
You never want to do that as Leona. Leona wastes her ultimate on the support over Graves. Like Tark's not gonna do anything. He stuns you and then he just like gets rid of your armor. But that's it. He's not gonna do the damage.
It would have been fine if Ezreal had his abilities up, but they had just barely exchanged, so the ult didn't contribute to them at all. They couldn't follow up on it.
Yeah, like I guess if they wanted to burst Tark or run away from him, sure. But if they're going all in, you want to stun the most priority target, which was Graves.
Yeah, and I don't know what the fuck Lisa was doing top. Like,
Hey.
usually top laners are much stronger than the jungler at this point in the game, just because they have farm. Unless the jungler got super fed somehow. But like, he went there and tried to fight him, and just got beat up, even though he was behind. Like, Jace was doing bad in lane, but like he can still beat Lee Sin up because like Lee Sin's just not as strong. He has solo lane experience, and so he's like went there and tried to fight him. He's got
Unless you know for a fact that you're fed as the jungler, try not to fight lanes. Unless it's like early game and you have double buffs, and you're like, oh, I can fight anyone.
Yeah, but
that's really only early game. Yeah.
He just went there and got killed.
Eyes is too far behind at this point. He can't fight with Katarina at all.
Yeah, he gets one shot at it, so he's just now getting Capitals. He should have got that tier 2 boots. I don't know what that flash was.
And then here comes Cat to clean up.
Here comes the cleanup crew.
Cat,
Graves with a missed dash.
There
I
you
don't know what the fuck that was.
There we go.
Graves shouldn't have ulted. That was a waste. He should have ulted like the more people like in a space trapped, because Katarina was gonna get that kill regardless.
And also, as
And I feel
Graves
like
with
right
your-
there they just dived way too hard. They shouldn't have dived so far into the jungle. They should have just let him go and then take advantage of the trade. Push down towers, get dragon.
Yeah, and they like Kale's going back top when it's already pushed. They could have easily just all three push mid, and Rice can't really do shit.
Yeah,
and they could have also taken dragon right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they could have took the tower and dragon. Honestly,
the three of them could have got the turret, and then when Lee Sin comes back, he has smite, and they can secure dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Kale doesn't need to go back top. Like, this is
She
push.
like
it could
she
be
like
5
got
there.
she got a blue buff instead of getting mid turret, which I wonder which one's worth it.
Well, you could have got mid and bottom. I mean, mid and dragon.
Yeah, objectives are really important. Always push them when you can, or get them.
Especially after you have a PO exchange.
Yes,
like
right
no
after killing everyone, basically, you want to look for objectives, not go look back to farm. Like, oh, there's farm top lane. I'll get that.
See, I don't know what Jace was doing there. He could have like made Kale burn her ult at least, like hit her. People just run away from like, oh my god, I'm being damaged, I must run. And like that's why people die.
I was talking about this earlier. The flask on Jace, he got it so late. As you can see, he already sold it. So he only had it for like 8 minutes or so, which is a big waste of money. He should have got it a lot earlier.
You see, if he had burned Kale's ult earlier, he would have killed her right there. Instead, he gets nothing.
Oh, and if you didn't see, Kat got a Majives because she's cocky and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then right here, Tark also built a Shirelia's right away, which is
Oh, yeah.
You're still in lane phase, you lose the GP10. You're supposed to be a all-in kind of support, and Shirelia's isn't the best option for that.
Yeah, you should
And
have
you're-
had Vegas.
You're against another really aggressive support, so you're gonna be fighting like constantly. You can't just go Shirelius. You need to get something that gives you more fight presence, I guess. Something that will let you win a fight, like Aegis. It'll give you armor, health.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of them
It's
would Aegis.
It's also a really strong item right now.
Yeah. Yeah, like Leona's getting it looks like Leona's trying to rush a Shirelius too now. At least something Leona did do though that is really good on all supports is getting that early sight stone. Always get sight stone.
Yeah, it should usually be your first or second back item just because of how much gold value it is worth.
And you shouldn't even be getting Philosopher's Stone if you're going to be fighting constantly. You need something to win those fights. You don't need something to sustain.
Right.
And with the increasing global gold per fives aren't really as useful as they were before. So you can actually leave out on a couple of them. The Philostone. And Leona is not a really heavy mana usage, so you don't really even need it in the first place. And now they're just zoning bot lane. They're zoning bot lane even though Graves has 3+ kills.
Yeah, I don't know why he's playing, like, they're playing so afraid. I don't understand.
Like what Graves should be doing is because Leona is sitting there so far, overextended, he should just be poking her with auto attacks.
And then just be expecting her, what, I forget it, her
Zenith Blade.
yeah,
Yeah,
just be
just
expecting the
dodge it.
Zenith Blade and then just use quick draw instantly. The instant you see an animation, just quick draw. And then you can
just
poke
go
at her
in a
more.
random direction. Yeah, and then she has no cooldown, you can beat on her some more, and Tara can engage on her and kill her, or she has no cooldown, like, do something, man, just do stuff.
Pretty much. And they're ahead in lane, so they should be the ones forcing the fight or push the lane. They shouldn't be playing passive.
Yeah, 'cause look at Tarek, he's like hiding. Like,
Yeah, he should be playing it. They have it
he should
bordered.
be
He
up
could
there
just
more
run up
just
and stun.
trying to zone them.
And he just has like Shirelia's no boots, no nothing. Like, that's so.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty much worthless outside of his acting. Like he'll die fast.
Yeah.
Not even-
And there they saw Rengar coming, so they were playing a little passive there, and now they're just gonna kill him. Gets his Q off when Rengar ults so we can see him. And then they just all die. Leona had her flash
And
up.
then Cat's here.
Yeah, Leona actually had her flash up there. She should have just knew they were going to lose and just flash over the wall. And Rise actually gets a good.
Ulti.
Rise actually gets a good pick off at Cat, but he's still not able to kill her just because how
Yeah.
badly he's behind.
And what
Yeah,
he
if he'd
should have
been,
done
like,
there
equally-
is sat there, stood his ground, auto attacked, and he would have been able to pick up the kill.
Yeah,
Instead
Yeah,
of trying
he
to
should have
kite Cat.
just used the bush to his advantage to make her lose sight and
yeah.
kept doing the skills. He just quit and just, like decided to run. Like you're not gonna get
Yeah.
away. She has a blink, and you don't.
As-
So there's no chance.
As Rise,
like-
you want to use your Q, and then either if your Q is usually not max, you'll want to use about 2 spells. But if you think it's going to be a duration fight, you'll just want to use 1 spell, wait, and then just use your Q again, use your next spell, just to get the most out of your Q.
And Kale shouldn't have rushed Phantom Dancer. That was bad.
Yeah, it's not the best item to rush.
I was telling her, I said, get lifesteal I mean,
Yeah, she needs some type. Well, actually, she maxed her heal first, though. I guess she didn't want lifesteal, which maxing
which
your
was
heal
also
on
bad.
kill, it's not the best idea. Like, it's not gonna give you much sense. Like, if you maxed your E, your ranged attack, it'll make the cooldown less, and it'll make it hurt harder. So that means you can trade more and trade even better.
Or what's even really good is you max your W, and then you have that increased damage on them, and it has a larger flow also.
That's also good.
But see, that's why Leona's risky. Because she's not tanky enough to do that shit she just did. Like, she dove in and just died.
Right, and part of that problem is because she rushed to Shurelios as well,
Yep, she
rather
has the
than
wrong
more
items.
tanky stats.
She needed to get an early Aegis. Well, not early, but she needed an
Earlier
Aegis.
than she needed Aegis
Yeah.
items.
Or just more resistances, more health, rather than regen.
Oh, this Ryze is gonna get destroyed here. I don't know what he's doing. Like that, you can't walk into your jungle when you don't know where they are. You can't just
Yeah, I
go
mean your team
lollygagging
just
over
died in your jungle, and it's none of it's warded.
Like,
I don't think- I
obviously
don't-
they're waiting.
I don't think any team has even gotten Dragon yet, which is
Nope.
kind of surprising.
They're just
Like-
taking mid parrot after being up like 14 kills. That should have
Yeah.
been gone like 10 minutes ago. They're still not doing dragon. Just the two of them could do it. Like, Graves has Bloodthirster.
And they're pinking Baron, even though I kind of doubt they're even gonna do Baron.
Yeah, there's
soon.
like no chance of the other team. They probably can't even beat Baron.
They do want to keep a word on it though, just so.
Yeah, just put a
Yeah.
one there, but they don't need to pink it. There's no chance of them, unless they're gonna do
Usually-
it, but they're not.
Yeah, the usually time you want to pink Baron or you Dragon. Actually, you want Dragon almost a lot pinked because you're constantly doing Dragon. But for Baron, you want to pink it when you're going to do it. Because now they know Baron's pink, so they can just whenever they want to do it, they're like, oh, it's pinked. I better buy my own pink or get oracles, and then we can do it. And they just wasted the pink ward. And yeah, Jace just getting out traded, losing.
Yep.
And then they can't catch up to Kale.
So then you hear the Benny Hill theme playing, and now they could have got. They're gonna get squashed here. If I mean, Kale could have turned around. She has her ult. They could have just squashed him in and killed him. But
And Dragon
I mean,
is still alive.
Katarina's so fed that like any fight they fight in the jungle, like a closed space, is fucking
Like-
destroyed.
Yeah, and then right
They
now
really-
both teams are just kind of sitting around doing nothing. They should be pushing out.
I mean,
Yeah,
lanes.
I think this is
the-
around the time in the game where I said, "Yo,
Getting
go push a
dragon.
lane."
Yeah, they're both teams are top when Dragon has still been up for not 27 minutes, but it's still been up, and they have never gotten it, which is
Like if
really
you see,
bad.
if you look bottom, do you see like the gigantic
Well-
creep wave down there? I said,
At
"Yo,
this point,
they're gonna have to
if
go
you
bottom."
see somebody, if you see somebody taking dragon, the other team's going to be able to jump right onto Baron.
The thing
So
is,
it's
red
pretty
team
risky at
can't
that
do
point.
Baron. They can't do it. They're not strong enough to do it. They could probably walk through
Actually-
dragon, go push a mid tower, and then go kill him.
And this early, maybe 4v5 could stop a Baron, because Baron gives your team like a whole debuff, and it hurts your whole team. 4 people can stop a Baron.
Yeah, like bottom is getting destroyed. Like this is where I was saying, yo, do something. You're gonna have to go bottom. Like, either push mid or do Baron or go top. Push something, and then
And here they get
That
a
was-
really nice jump on the
they
Graves,
got-
but then Cat
Yeah.
just
See,
destroys everyone.
if they didn't feed Cat 1 billion kills, then that wouldn't have happened. And they should have saved some CC for her, to be honest. Like, somebody
that
should have
would've
saved
been-
something.
If they were just reasonably fed enough, they would have bursted Graves and Tark in an instant. That was a really good initiation, but they didn't have any damage, and then just Cat just walks in there, gets a triple.
Yeah, they should have first of all known Cat was around and saved like anything, like Graves Jace knocked back something, but they didn't say it. So she got the full duration of her ult off, and
Yeah.
they're so behind that they just can't even kill him in a
Yeah,
reasonable
it's nice.
amount of time.
It's nice that they got Graves and all, and it was a good initiation. But yeah, they're just way behind. Is kind of no point now.
Like Rise is 1-8, and Rengar's 2-9. Like no lane is doing good. So
Jace is doing okay. He's got quite a. Actually, Ezreal has a lot of farm. Ezreal
Yeah,
has the most farm.
he's
in the
been
game.
CSing well.
well they only have so much
But
farm is because the
he
bottom
hasn't
playing
been
like
getting
pussies. Like if bottom was playing correctly, he wouldn't have any farm because they would have been killing him.
First dragon of the game.
Once
They're finally doing dragon.
That's the first
Once-
dragon
like,
of
once-
the game.
once Ezreal cleanses, like he can't stop. Like you can make him cleanse without blowing summoners, and then he has to eat ignite and exhaust.
The funny thing is, I think right after they got that nice exchange, they could have even went for Baron over Dragon at this time in the game. They could
Yeah,
have
they
easily
could've,
done
yeah.
that, probably.
I mean, they all had like full HP except Graves was dead, but
Yeah.
yeah, they don't even need him. To be honest, they have Kayle and she's basically Graves.
Yeah, Kale is another AD carry, basically.
So yeah, they just probably didn't need to like do it for some reason. I don't think you can do it, guys. It's big.
What to say? Oh,
So, I guess you could comment on Rise. He built a Rod of Ages really late. I'm not sure exactly when he got it, but
It
yeah.
wasn't too long ago.
yeah, it wasn't the place to build it. He should have definitely gone for tankier stats, like a Glacial Shroud, which gives
Yeah.
mana, armor, and cooldown reduction.
For the most part, you do want to rush a Rod of Ages on Rise, but he didn't rush it. I mean, if you look at his build and you don't know what the time is, you probably think he did rush it, but he really didn't. Which is, yeah.
See, the thing is, by the
Just
time
because
he
he's so far
by the
behind.
time it gets stacked, up, like the game's gonna be over. Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna get the bonus stats for every minute or whatever the fuck it is. He's not gonna get like look, he just bought him the game over. Like he probably didn't even get 1 or 2, maybe 3, but like
Yeah.
bonuses.
Yeah.
You build it so
He
late, it's not worth it.
Probably should have got a Glacial Shroud. And look at this. They just won a team fight, and Red is trying to initiate on him, and they're going to win another team fight because of Cat.
Yeah,
They're back.
this cat has GA now to protect his stats. So
It's not like she's going to die anyways.
yeah,
got,
but I
like,
mean, it's
barely
even
hurt.
like it's even less likely that they'll want to fight.
Yeah, that Cat just destroyed.
Yeah, she just like steamrolled.
I know you guys went over some of the things that people were building while the game was going on. I think 2 of the people that you didn't really cover at all were really like the junglers. You just want to do that really fast.
Well, Rengar, first of all, needs to start with more potions because you can't do it with 2 potions on most people
Yeah,
unless they have
and-
like built-in super sustain.
He got it
This is a good
Wriggles.
start on both of them.
Yeah, you always
because
want to
they
get
are
Wriggles.
target.
Like going Phage when you're that far behind. I mean, maybe if you're really that far behind, maybe you just want to say, how can I help my team? Maybe I'll just get an Aegis. I mean, an Aura item. Yeah, maybe it'll help my team. Because my support doesn't have it already. Why not? Also warding
Yeah.
the map well.
Because even if he has the slow from it, like they're just gonna kill you.
What?
Like,
Yeah, you're so far behind, you don't have any damage or blah blah blah. Yeah, and actually,
you just slow him down from killing you.
a third item that's really good for Rengar is Brutalizer, but that is really only if you're ahead, or at least doing well, not like in his situation.
Yeah, he was just like cannon fodder. He destroyed everything. He
Okay.
was
And
spotted on the map.
the Lee Sin, this is probably not. This is probably a really bad idea on Lee Sin is getting a Bloodthirster when you already have a Wriggles, because you don't need that much life steal, because that's the really only reason you can get Bloodthirster over other damage items, because you want extra life steal. You want some sort of life steal item. You already have Wriggles. There's really no point. If you want damage on Lee Sin, like Lee Sin was doing really well. He could have got a Brutalizer. Brutalizer is a really good core damage item for junglers now if they're ahead.
Yeah, and
Also,
then after
you didn't need
Brutalizer,
to
what
go
you should have done
damage.
is build Tanky.
He
Yeah,
didn't need to
just
go
get one
because
damage
he had
item.
3 incredible damage dealers already. He had Katarina like fed out the ass. Graves was doing good, and Kano had a bunch of items too. Like he didn't need to do damage. All he had to do was like fuck with carries. Is all he needed.
More
to do.
damage the better, especially
Yeah,
if you're
true.
ahead.
Yeah, who needs?
Yeah, you want-
who needs defense?
On bruisers and off tanks, basically you just want to get that one damage item and then just go full tank. And Phage is not always the best on Lee Sin too. You could have just went for I guess
A
since
Brutalizer.
yeah, Brutalizer instead of the BF, and instead of the Phage, you probably would have wanted to go like Randuin's, I would say, because their AP mid wasn't going to do anything. So it was just basically the Ezreal and somewhat Jace.
Okay, well, is there any, like, final thoughts or anything like that you guys want to say?
Cat should never build him a Jives. Red team needed to ward a lot better early game, and Jace probably shouldn't have got 2 straight damage items that early. He needed to build somewhat defensively too.
Sightstone should always be your #1 item as support.
Yes, always.
Roy should have warded both sides of mid when he's playing against a super jungler that probably camp the shit out of you, especially if you have ability.
Every mid should be buying 2 wards every back to ward their mid lane. Not even just mid lane.
I wouldn't say 2 wards. You should probably expect your jungler to ward one side and then you ward the other.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have extra wards. I personally like 2 wards. 3 is excessive, but I personally like 2 wards.
I'd say if you have the extra money, if not, 1 is sufficient.
Yeah, I mean you can, if you only have 1 ward and your jungler is not warding, you can even
hug that
just hug.
side.
Yeah, just hug that side of your lane, because you know if a jungler's there or not, you'll be safe.
Alright, well, at the end of that, I want to thank Cleavage Cake, Jordian, and Celestios for doing the mentoring commentary and helping out in the in-house as it was going on. I said thanks, God.
Oh, you're welcome. Also, thank you, Narlin, and Days for helping out with the whole in-house, getting all ready, and having us do this.
No problem.
You're
I
welcome.
ain't thanking nobody for shit. What the fuck, y'all?
And with those awesome words of encouragement, that is the end of the